Some UK pub classics are secretly disastrous. I'm talking meals with more calories than a Big Mac, freshly cooked plates that arrive suspiciously fast because they were frozen in some factory miles away, and dishes so wildly inconsistent that ordering them feels like betting your dignity on a scratch card. And the worst part? We still buy them because they remind us of simpler days when pub food tasted warm, honest, and actually made by humans. So today, we're ranking the UK's most iconic pub dishes from absolute catastrophe to genuine classics worth your plate. Before we begin, hit subscribe so you never miss another brutally honest breakdown. 10. Pub lasagna. There's bad pub food, and then there's pub lasagna. If disappointment had layers, it would look exactly like the slab they drop onto your plate with a fake smile. Some of these monsters carry more calories than a Big Mac and fries combined, which would be fine if they tasted heavenly. But no. What you usually get is a chaotic tower of soggy sheets, grey mince, and a cheese topping that tastes suspiciously like melted plastic pretending to have ambition. The worst part is the texture roulette. One forkful is scorching hot, the next is colder than British seawater in February. That's usually the sign it was frozen as one gigantic brick, then microwaved until its spirit gave up. And the sauces. My goodness, some pubs serve lasagna with a tomato layer so acidic it feels like punishment, followed by a white sauce that's thinner than a conspiracy theory. And let's not ignore the smell. When a dish arrives and the aroma reminds you of a school cafeteria in 2006, that's your cue to run. Customer reviews across the country call it hit or miss. But honestly, misses dominate so aggressively it's practically a sport. When lasagna is bad, it's catastrophically bad, violently bad, a culinary ambush. Lasagna should feel warm, soothing, and soulful. But in many pubs, it's a tired, reheated tragedy that's only pretending to be comforting. It's more betrayal than pasta. 9. Gammon, egg, and chips. Gammon should feel hearty, old school, reliable. Instead, half the time it arrives looking like a pink leather coaster someone tried to revive on a grill that quit on its job years ago. One bite and the salt hits you like a personal attack. Some of these plates reach sodium levels that could resurrect a medieval soldier. It's outrageously intense. Your tongue feels dehydrated before you even swallow. The egg doesn't help. Sometimes it's perfect. Most times the yolk is overcooked into a dry yellow disc that tastes like regret. Other days it's so runny it slides across the plate like it's escaping. And the chips. Oh, the chips. They're often sad, pale and limp, sitting there like they heard about seasoning but never met it personally. The whole meal becomes a salt festival that nobody asked for. And the portion sizes are insane. You get a slab so thick it could double as a roof tile, an egg that looks like it's been through emotional trauma, and chips that might as well be props. People order this dish out of nostalgia, thinking it will feel comforting, but instead it feels like a dare. Gammon, egg, and chips can be great, it really can. But in too many pubs, it's a brutal, aggressively salty disappointment that attacks your taste buds and leaves you wondering why you trusted it again. It's the culinary equivalent of texting your ex at midnight. 8. Scampi and chips. Scampi sounds cute. Playful, friendly, until you order it in a random pub and suddenly realize you've become the main character in a seafood thriller. A shocking amount of pub scampi isn't even whole scampi. It's minced pieces of seafood pressed together like some bizarre fish puzzle, then coated in breadcrumbs thick enough to hide every secret. The first crunch is a gamble. Sometimes it's fine. Most times you get a soggy breadcrumb jacket filled with a mushy grey interior that tastes like a fish forgot its purpose. Some batches contain less than 40% actual scampi, which is wild when you consider you're paying real money for it. This is the kind of dish that makes you stare at your plate, wondering how something so innocent looking could betray you so aggressively. The chips usually don't help. They soak up oil like they're volunteering for it. And the tartar sauce is often either incredible or horrifying. No in between. The smell can also be intensely suspicious. When seafood hits your nose and you instinctively lean back, that's never a reassuring sign. People order scampi because it reminds them of pubs by the coast, childhood meals, happy holidays. But in too many places, it shows up as a deep-fried mystery box of confusion and heartbreak. When it's bad, It is impressively bad, almost artfully awful. Scampi and chips should feel golden and delicious. Instead, too many pubs serve versions that feel like they were put together during a power outage. 7. Steak and ale pie. This is the dish that tricks you every time. You see the golden top, the bubbling gravy, the pastry dome whispering promises, and you think it's going to be magic. Then the fork goes in and the fantasy collapses instantly. Half the homemade pies in pubs are actually factory creations reheated in ovens that sound as tired as they look. And you can taste it. The pastry can be a disaster. Dry on top, soggy underneath, like it forgot its own job. The filling is even worse, tough meat cubes that chew like punishment. Gravy that tastes watered down to the point of emotional injury. And sometimes you get that strange metallic tang, which is usually the sign that the pub bought a cheap pie with filler ingredients and hoped you wouldn't notice. The calorie count on some of these monsters hits 1,500. 1,500. And for what? For a pie that breaks your heart before it fills your stomach. Some pubs try to rescue a dry pie by drowning it in extra gravy, but all it does is turn the plate into a swamp. This dish should be rich, warm, and satisfying. But when a pub gets it wrong, it becomes a chaotic stew trapped under a pastry lid that tastes like damp cardboard. You leave the table wondering where your money went and why you trusted a pie again. A great steak and ale pie is heaven. A bad one is culinary betrayal of the highest order. 6. Sausages and mash. You'd think sausages and mash would be impossible to ruin. It's the safest order on the menu, the dish toddlers trust. Yet somehow pubs keep turning it into a full-blown tragedy. The problem usually starts with the sausages. Some pubs still use bangers padded with rusk, fillers, and mystery seasonings that taste like they were chosen by someone who hates joy. You cut into one and the texture is so rubbery you start questioning physics. Then comes the mash. Oh dear, when mash goes wrong it collapses spectacularly. Some pubs whip it until it becomes glue. Others leave lumps so huge they could be geological features. And the gravy. Let's not pretend every pub is serving rich onion gravy made with care. Some of them bring out a brown liquid so watery it feels like someone whispered gravy into a pot of hot water and called it a day. What really hurts is the inconsistency. One pub gives you creamy mash, juicy sausages, and a hug for your taste buds. The next serves a plate so aggressively mediocre it should be fined. It's annoying because this dish can be beautiful when done right. Warm, honest, real. But when it's bad, it is catastrophically bad, shockingly bad, the kind of bad that makes you stare into the distance and rethink your life choices. 5. Pub burger. A good burger is simple: beef, bun, cheese, done. Somehow pubs still manage to serve burgers so underwhelming you start questioning whether the cow ever existed. Some of these patties are frozen hard discs with grill marks printed on like a tattoo. You bite in and it's dry, crumbly, and depressingly flavourless. It's like eating a beef-flavoured coaster. The bun doesn't help. Many pubs love using brioche that collapses instantly, leaving you holding a sticky mess that feels like it's fighting back. And don't get me started on the cheese. Some slices melt beautifully, others sit there unmoving, like bright yellow plastic sheets observing your suffering. Then there's the calorie factor. Some burgers hit 1,400 calories before you even add fries. That's wild when most of the calories taste like disappointment. And the toppings. You either get a mound of sad lettuce that tastes like fridge air or onions that feel like they were sliced during a stressful moment. The worst part is how sneaky some pubs are. They describe their burgers as gourmet, handcrafted, artisan. Meanwhile, the patty came out of a freezer bag labelled value. It's a scam wearing sesame seeds. A pub burger can be wonderful. But too often it's a dry, overpriced tragedy that tricks you with buzzwords before punching your taste buds in the hopes you won't complain. 4. Fish and chips. Fish and chips should be sacred. Crispy, golden, steaming perfection. Yet pub versions have slowly become the culinary equivalent of a plot twist gone wrong. The most shocking part is how many pubs quietly switch cod for pollock, hoping nobody notices under the thick armour of batter. And sometimes that batter arrives soggy, pale, and confused. You pick it up and it flops like it has given up its dreams. Inside, the fish can be glorious or horrifying. Some fillets flake beautifully, others leak water like a broken tap. That's usually the sign it was frozen so many times it developed trust issues. And the chips. My goodness, some pubs serve chips so lifeless and oily they feel like they were fried in the same oil, used to make memories fade. Calorie-wise, a large pub portion can hit 1,500. That's fine when it's delicious. But when the meal tastes like fryer oil and betrayal, it becomes an emotional crime. Fish and chips should feel bright, crunchy, and proud. Instead, too many pub versions taste like they were prepared by someone who resents seafood. The inconsistency is brutal. You either get a plate that makes you close your eyes with joy, or a soggy disaster that makes you rethink the concept of national pride. 3. Sunday roast. A roast is not just food, it's ceremony, it's family. It's the entire week building toward one plate, and that's why a bad roast hurts on a spiritual level. Some pubs send out beef so grey it looks as tired as the chef who sliced it. Other pubs serve chicken that tastes like it was cooked during a moment of panic. It's heartbreaking. Then you meet the potatoes. They should be crisp and golden. Instead, some roasts present potatoes that feel steamed rather than roasted, with the crunch level of a wet sponge. The vegetables are no better. Pub carrots often taste like they've seen too much moisture and not enough seasoning. Yorkshire puddings. What a gamble. They either rise triumphantly or deflate into sad, doughy sauces that taste like they're judging you. And the gravy. Some pubs make gravy that hugs the plate with love. Others serve a brown puddle so thin you start questioning who approved it. A full roast can easily hit 1,800 calories, which is fine if it tastes like heaven. But when it tastes like a reheated tragedy served out of obligation, it becomes painful. A great roast is unforgettable, but a bad one feels like a personal attack from the universe. 2. Steak and chips. If you ever want to know how much a pub actually cares, order the steak and chips. This dish is the great truth teller. There's no room to hide, no pastry lid shielding the sins, no sauce disguising half-hearted cooking. It's just meat and potatoes standing there, waiting to reveal whether the kitchen respects you or wants you to suffer quietly. A good steak arrives, glistening, warm, tender enough to cut with a smile. A bad steak arrives looking like it lost a fight. Some pubs serve cuts so tough they could survive a direct meteor strike. You slice in and your knife trembles as if it knows what's coming. The flavour is usually lifeless when the pub buys cheap meat, and you can feel every shortcut in your teeth. Then you meet the chips. They should be golden and proud. Instead, many pubs serve generic frozen chips that taste like disappointment seasoned with oil. You get a handful of limp sticks that sit on the plate like they're ashamed of existing. And the price? Some pubs charge you the GDP of a small village for a steak that tastes like a difficult week. It's outrageous. You walk out feeling emotionally and financially defeated. But when steak and chips is good, it feels almost sacred. It's honest. It's bold. It's the dish that whispers, this pub actually gives a damn. 1. The winner. Proper fish pie. Here it is. The crown. The champion. The dish that refuses to be ruined by time, shortcuts, or lazy kitchens. A proper fish pie made with care is one of the last genuinely comforting pub meals left. When it arrives hot and golden, you instantly know you're about to experience something real. Break through the crust and the steam hits you with a buttery, creamy wave that feels like a warm hug. Inside you get smoked haddock, salmon, and tender white fish folded into a silky sauce that actually tastes like someone cooked it slowly rather than panicked 30 seconds before service. The mash topping sits fluffy and golden, crisp at the edges, soft at the center, glowing like it knows it's the hero of the evening. The beauty of fish pie is honesty. There's no hiding low quality here. If a pub uses cheap ingredients, the dish collapses instantly. The sauce splits, the fish dries, the mash sinks. It becomes a culinary disaster so traumatic it could make you swear off seafood forever. That's why only pubs that genuinely care even attempt it. A great fish pie is soothing, rich, nostalgic. It fills you without overwhelming you. It tastes like calm evenings, steady rain, warm lights, and slow cooking. It's the dish that feels handcrafted in a world that's rushing to do everything faster. This is the pub classic that still has heart, the one that deserves the top spot, the one that proves British comfort food isn't dead yet.